Welcome back here to my mini-series on what to expect at Army basic training in 2021 amid the coronavirus pandemic. And in this episode, I'm going to break down to you the red phase. So stay tuned. Here we go! What's up, everybody? Welcome back here to Team SWARTZ. And if this is your first time here, welcome to my channel. Here I post a ton of Army basic training tips, recruiting, and other Army-related videos to include going live weekly to address your most desired questions and concerns. So with that being said, typically pre-COVID, red phase was your first phase and it was 3 weeks long, but due to COVID and the all new yellow phase, which I explained in the previous episode, which you can find in the link down below, red phase has been reduced down to 2 phases to help squeeze in the all new yellow phase. Red phase is going to be significantly more intense than the previous and future phases. And with that being said, red phase is under total, complete, and utter control. We are going to micromanage your every move. Every detail to your day-to-day tasks will be micromanaged and monitored. And for any minor infraction, no matter what it is, will result to corrective training to transform you from a confused civilian into a confident United States soldier by reinforcing discipline and teamwork. So hopefully you acquire and develop quickly an acute attention to detail, or plan on getting stronger. Your very first day of red phase will begin on a Sunday, and as previously described, not a whole lot happens on these days. It's more of an admin day and for your drill sergeants to prepare for the week. They may give you additional tasks throughout the day, like a packing list for the next day. Other than that, again, not a whole lot goes on this day. On day 2, you should expect to do resiliency training, and throughout your basic training experience and throughout the rest of your military career, the Army will provide you resiliency training, with today being focused on goal setting. You will also learn about map reading, identifying symbols and lantern features on a topographical military map to include basic radio communications. So during your map reading block of instruction, we're going to show you how to read your legend and how to identify symbols, colors, topographical information to include marginal information on your topographical map, and to go over your 5 major land terrain features, your 3 minor land terrain features, and 2 supplementary land terrain features. For your basic communications class, we will give you a block of instruction on perform a voice command, which will include, but not limited to, with a SINGAR radio, we will teach you all about the basics on how to operate and utilize a SINGAR radio, how to input various network frequency codes, how to send a message, and to close out your delivery using call signs and proper call sign sequences, utilizing pro words, the phonetic alphabet, and numerals with 100% accuracy. You will also learn about a salute report. So when you're out behind enemy lines and you have to radio back a salute report, salute basically stands for, or is an acronym for, S as in size, A as in activity, L for location, U for possible known unit or organization that the potential enemy belongs to, the time and equipment utilized based on your observation. You will draw up your salute report and deliver that utilizing proper radio communications. You will also learn the 9 lines to request a medevac for a potential casualty, whether it's during peacetime or wartime. Today will also be the day that you knock out your first foot march or ruck march with a minimal load. Basically, you're going to be wearing your combat boots, your water source, and maybe a couple other odds and end items that your drill sergeants will provide to you the night before when you're preparing for the next day. Day 3 is going to be a fun day. You're going to be doing the Confidence Repel Tower, and upon getting there, you are going to receive a block of instruction and a demonstration on the incline wall and the 50-foot tower in which you will be rappelling off of. Once you have completed the demonstration of your incline wall and the 50-foot tower, you will move on over to the rappel lane, and you are going to receive a block of instruction on how to and do yourself by creating your harness out of a rope. Once you have successfully made your harness and good to go, you will get inspected by a cadre member, making sure that it's nice and snug and tight and on properly before you move on to the inclined rappel wall. Once you've been cleared by the cadre that your harness is good to go, you will move on over to the inclined rappel wall and receive the directions from your cadre member from there. Once at the top of the incline rappel wall, you will crawl over to your drill sergeant or your cadre, and they will make sure that you are linked up to the rope appropriately, follow their block of instruction, and walk down the wall. This is your time to practice and to get a feel of what to expect when you go off of the 50-foot tower, which will be next. Once you've completed the incline rappel wall, you will walk on over and wait on line to go up the 50-foot tower. Each soldier will move up the stairs to each platform. Generally speaking, you will move 2 at a time to each platform until you get to the top. Once you get to the top, you will listen to the cadre and or your drill sergeants, and you will crawl over to them to get linked up to your rope. You will receive a quick block of instruction. Don't worry about falling off the 50-foot wall, okay? We have safeties down at the bottom with their hands around the rope like this. In the event that they see you falling, right, or struggling, they are going to grab that rope and pull it tightly so that the rope is nice and taut and stop you wherever you are at that point. So while you're at the top, you're gonna put your feet on the ledge and you're gonna sit back into an L-shaped position. With your free hand, you're gonna wave to your drill sergeant while the other hand is behind you holding the rope, acting as your brake. Your drill sergeants are going to tell you to loosen up your brake and to jump out and release the rope a little bit until you get further down the wall. You will bound about 2 to 4 times before you get to the bottom. This is a very, very fun event, and I guarantee you that the biggest, strongest, buffest bodybuilder wannabe in your platoon who acts tough as nails, I guarantee you at least one of them will be crying like a little, you'll see what I mean. So pre-COVID, you would at this point receive your first block of instruction on Army Combatives. So during COVID, Army Combatives is not gonna come back until we get past the COVID issues and restrictions. So with that being said, when COVID hit, it also did away with the pugils. So they voted, and at some point throughout 2021, if it's not already being implemented, the pugils has been approved to be reintegrated into your training. So you may receive your pugils training on this day or on another day when you do combatives. But I will, for the sake of this video and this series, will inform you when you would normally have your Army Combatives training so that if and when it does come back, you would know what day you would have it. On day 4, you are going to receive some medical training and specifically tactical field care. You're going to learn how to perform a casualty assessment, checking for bleeding, opening an airway, perform first aid for an open chest wound, and apply applicable measures to control or mitigate shock. You will also receive additional training to reinforce SHARP training. SHARP, again, means Sexual Harassment Awareness and Reporting Procedures. Again, SHARP is nothing to take lightly. You can and will end your career depending on the circumstances, and it has zero tolerance, especially in a training environment. So don't do it, Pry. Don't do it. Day 5, you will knock out your team development course, which will be a fun day. I love obstacle courses and such. So this, to me, would be a very exciting and fun day for you as well. There are a total of 6 potential obstacles that you could complete, but you're gonna complete as many as possible, but you should complete at least 4 obstacles today. This is basically to simulate tactical situations where you have limited resources to accomplish your mission. As a team, you are going to develop, plan, and negotiate each obstacle together. Each obstacle, you will be given approximately 15 to 30 minutes to accomplish your mission. And part of this exercise is for drill sergeants to assess to see who is a good leader, who is a good follower, who is selfish and not really a team player. So part of Red Phase is to instill discipline and foster a teamwork atmosphere. So this is the time for the drill sergeants to get to know you, and you actually get to know your battle buddies, see who's actually selfish and who is a team player. So if you're a leader, be a good leader. If you're a follower, be a good follower. You will also receive a block of instruction on TARP and OPSEC. OPSEC is short for Operation Security, and TARP stands for Threat Awareness Reporting Program. Essentially, they will teach you how to identify indicators and potential threats to U.S. Army personnel and choosing the appropriate reporting channels to report this information. You will also receive additional medical training by learning how to fill out and complete your TCCC or TCCC card, which stands for Tactical Combat Casualty Care Card. Woo, that's a tongue twister. But essentially, whether in a peacetime environment or while deployed in a battlefield scenario, when you receive a casualty, you will complete this card, filling out basic information for your casualty. You will have to, with 100% accuracy, fill out this card with the casualty's basic information, name, sex, so on and so forth, to include the mechanics of the injury itself, any signs or symptoms that you've identified or the casualty has expressed, any treatments that were conducted, any medication that was provided or taken in the past, and to include any type of notes. On day 6, you will continue your medical training, specifically on care under fire. The purpose of this training is to perform medical care under the following sequences in order without exposing yourself unnecessarily to enemy fire. In doing so, you will return fire until enemy fire has been suppressed. At this point, you will make sure and check to see if your casualty is alive or dead. If needed, you will apply a tourniquet before moving your casualty to cover or concealment, utilizing either the neck drag or the cradle drop drag. The neck drag is better for you in the sense that you have a smaller silhouette for the enemy in which to fire at, versus the cradle drop drag where it has a larger silhouette, because the cradle drop drag requires you to stand up, scoot your hands underneath the shoulders and through the armpits and drag your casualty to safety, whereas the neck drag requires, if possible, if your casualty is able to wrap their arms around your neck and clasp their fingers around your neck, you are going to bear crawl and drag your casualty to cover or concealment. You will also receive an introduction to BRM or basic rifle marksmanship classes, ranging from things on how to handle your weapon, safety. You will also learn how to identify the shot process, meaning the internal, external, and terminal ballistics. Internal ballistics is what happens inside the weapon with your bullet, or what we refer to as your round. And when the round exits the weapon, that is considered your external ballistics, what happens once it leaves your M4 carbine, and upon impact, from the impact to the end state of your round is your termination or terminal ballistics. You will learn how to properly load and unload your M4 carbine and magazine. At some point, you will experience a malfunction while firing your weapon while it's on the range, or at any point throughout your military career. So here you will learn how to apply sports or remedial action drills to un-F your rifle in the event that you get a double feed or something is not working and no rounds are leaving your rifle. So pay attention to this class and apply sports when necessary to include remedial action in the event that sports doesn't work. You also learn how to comprehend basic ballistics, the different types of ammunition throughout history and the ones that we commonly use and for different purposes. You will also learn how to bore sight and zero your M4 optics. Optics are essentially your scope that's at the top of your rifle, right? So it is a red dot that pretty much, as long as it's zeroed properly and effectively, wherever that red dot is where you should expect your round to impact. You will also learn how to maintain PMCS, preventive maintenance checks and services, your M4 carbine and your magazine and all the internal components and all that good stuff. So always, always, always treat your rifle, your M4 carbine, as if it is loaded, okay? Never point your weapon at anything or anyone unless you intend to kill or shoot your rifle. Maintain trigger discipline by never leaving your finger on the trigger. If you ever watch a movie or a TV series, the finger is outside the trigger well, not on the trigger itself. Do not get caught with your finger on the trigger unless you're actually engaging your target or something or someone that you intend to kill. You will also be taught the basic fundamental elements of the firing process. You will learn about your proper workspace, how to aim your rifle, how to have total control and movement while engaging your target. You will be taught your 3 basic primary firing positions, to include additional firing positions when you receive training utilizing the wall. So at some point in 2021, it's supposed to be effective for the new range qualification, which in my opinion makes it more realistic to real-world battlefield experiences while firing your weapon. So with the current rifle range procedures, you will fire from the prone unsupported position, the prone supported, and the kneeling position. But with the barrier shoot, You will learn how to shoot, again, supported, unsupported, kneeling, and leaning on the barrier, to include shooting from your side, on the left-hand side and your right-hand side. And unlike the traditional or the current BRM qualification course, Basic Rifle Marksmanship course, you are basically babied on when to load your magazine, when to select your rifle from safe to semi, putting it on safe, and all that good stuff. With the new qualification course, with the barrier shoot, it is on you to maintain control of your weapon, change your magazines as needed throughout the qualification course while engaging your targets, which makes it more realistic and more challenging to complete compared to the more traditional BRM course. I got to experience the barrier shoot while I was at the Drill Sergeant Academy last summer in 2020. I kind of felt like I was John Wick, firing from a right-hand side, left side while laying on the ground. It's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. And make sure that you pay attention to your block of instruction prior to your barrier shoot, because they will tell you how to properly aim your rifle, utilize like where you need to aim to adjust for the ballistics, that shot process that you previously learned. To where it's going to impact, because it's not going to be quite the same as if you're in a vertical position like this. So when you're lying down on your side, you have to know where to aim it to mitigate the changes of your body position. But yes, it is a lot of fun. You will also learn how to zero your backup iron sights. So on your rifle, in the event that your CCO or your optics, either the battery dies, it gets malfunctioned, or let's say you crack the lens or something and it's not working any longer, you have to learn how to use and zero your backup iron sights. So you will adjust your front sight post and your back rear sight apparature to the appropriate settings to zero it, so that when you go on a range day to zero your weapon on the backup iron sights and your optics, you know what you need to be doing. So you will bore light to zero your CCO or your optics on top of your rifle. You will place your rifle on a wooden contraption, which will keep it in a controlled, supported position. We will stick a laser at the end of your muzzle, and from there we will put a target about 10 feet away. And every time you pull the trigger, the laser, we will make adjustments until your CCO is properly zeroed. You will also conduct dry fire drills, which are going through the range procedures, the firing positions, and again, going through and walking through the application of sports and remedial drill actions. Day 7 is going to be another fun-filled day where you will knock out your confidence course. Your confidence course is essentially an obstacle course that you will either do individually or in a small team or squad. The confidence course is not a timed event. You will go to as many obstacles as you possibly can, weather permitting and time permitting. Some of these obstacles will challenge you physically and mentally. You will be doing obstacle courses that deal with height, coordination, balance, so on and so forth, again, as an individual or in a small team. Some of these obstacles are extremely fun. You'll be climbing walls, climbing up different platforms, going up or down ropes. It is a very fun-filled day, if you ask me. It was one of my best times at basic training. You will also conduct even more casualty movement exercises and practical exercises as previously described, continuing your medical training. Day 8 will be Sunday, and again, as previously described, nothing really happens on this particular day outside of barracks maintenance, church services, and all that good stuff. On day 9, you will be knocking out your CBRN training classes 1 and 2. CBRN stands for Chemical, Biological, Radiological, and Nuclear Warfare. You will become familiarized with the history of CBRN and the way forward. You will learn how to react to a CBRN attack, how to maintain your protective mask or your gas mask essentially. You will also learn how to protect yourself utilizing your gas mask in the event that you come across a chemical or biological agent with your gas mask, and donning it within 9 seconds. Donning meaning from the pouch to your face, putting on your gas mask in less than 9 seconds. You have up to 12 to 15 seconds to put on your hood if it's attached to your gas mask. You will also learn about the various MOP levels, all right? MOP levels when it comes to chemical, biological, radiological, and nuclear warfare. Depending on what's going on, they will let you know, either through your drill sergeants or your unit, in the event that something like this happens, they'll tell you which MOP level you need to get to. MOP essentially stands for Mission-Oriented Protective Posture, okay? So you will learn how to protect yourself at the appropriate MOP level. To get to MOP level 4, which is a tested event, you will be tested on getting to MOP level 4 within 8 minutes. You will also learn how to conduct hydration while wearing your gas mask and not exposing yourself to any possible chemical or biological agent. You will also learn how to decontaminate yourself and your equipment, and to deploy M8 or M9 detection paper testing the air for possible chemical or biological agents, and if they are, you will learn how to employ a marker kit to warn others that they are coming across a contaminated area. You will also experience the gas chamber. When COVID first came here, the gas chamber was canceled for quite some time there, but right around late May to mid-June, they reintegrated the gas chamber. So you will be experiencing the gas chamber at its most basic level. The times where if you watch this video right here,
oh my God!
whew, you may or may not get the full experience, right? So the full experience is when you go into the gas chamber, your drill sergeants or the cadre will pop open a CS gas, which is basically riot pepper spray, essentially. And you will be instructed to do, I think, about 4 exercises, everything from jumping jacks to running in place to high knees and so on and so forth. And they will direct you to lean up against the wall or back up against the wall, shoulder to shoulder. This is also an exercise that will test your ability to trust your equipment. So at this point, your cadre and or drill sergeant will walk up to about 2 or 3 of you at a time, tell you to break a seal where you raise your mask off of your face. Prior to that, you can take a deep breath in. Once your drill sergeant or cadre verify that you in fact broke your seal, they tell you to reseal your gas mask. At that point, you will put the mask back on your face, block the hole, blow out, push your hand over the canister or the filter, and suck in. And no air should go in because you're blocking the airway, right? What that does is it creates or reseals your mask essentially, and then you can start breathing like normal. Now, initially, when you go into the gas chamber, typically you're not even gonna know that there's already gas emitted that have been emitted in the air previously to you going in. So after a few minutes, you're gonna start feeling a slight burning sensation on the back of your neck and your hands, basically anywhere where your skin is exposed. So for me, I'm bald, right? So I felt it everywhere. But with that being said, it is a fun experience. And if you want to get the full experience, some locations are doing it. They're not supposed to, but you know, if the cadre do this, as previously shown in that video, they will tell you to remove your mask and recite something like the Soldier's Creed. Fun times. When you exit the gas chamber, one by one, you are going to be instructed to flap your arms up and down like this. During this practical exercise, while the gas is in the air, is going to settle onto your uniform. So that's why we tell you to flap your arms to get it off of you. Now, if you are in a position where you get the full experience, where you remove your mask and recite something crazy, you're gonna be getting teary-eyed, snot will be coming out of your nose, and possibly drooling. And it causes some people to vomit when you leave the gas chamber. So if you go in there with a cold, just breathe in that gas and you come out clear as day. Also, concurrently, while this is going on and while you're waiting to go into the gas chamber, or if you're done and waiting for everyone else to go through the gas chamber, you will receive a review on the BRM shot process, or basic rifle marksmanship, as previously described. On day 10, you're going to expand upon your drill and ceremony, receiving set 5, which is going to be on squad drill movements, which will consist of, but not limited to, forming a squad, falling in formation essentially at the position of attention, getting proper distance, so on and so forth. You're going to learn how to count off, which for some reason is extremely difficult for soldiers to execute properly and efficiently. You're going to learn how to change intervals while in line at close intervals, normal intervals, or double arm intervals. You will also learn how to align your squad in formation utilizing the dress right dress, and when you conduct a right face about to go for a forward march, how to cover and recover, basically maintaining your proper distance. You also learn how to march as a squad and to change direction utilizing column left, column right, column half left, and column half right, to include marching to the flank, whether that's the left flank or the right flank. You also learn how to form a column of 2s and to reform. You will also learn how to dismiss a squad. There's a difference between dismissing a squad and telling your squad to fall out. Dismissing your squad is essentially dismissing them from that block of instruction or briefing or whatever block of instruction you gave to them and to carry out the next task. Fall out is only conducted at the end of the day, meaning you're just basically telling them to leave for the rest of the day. So we've been using this a lot in the Army, and we've been wrong for many, many years. But in accordance with the regulation, fallout is to be used at the end of the day, not dismissed. So know the difference. Under normal circumstances pre-COVID, and once we get through COVID, combatives, your next class would happen at this time. But as previously described, if Pugils is back, you may receive additional Pugils training or receive your Pugils training at this time. On day 11, you're going to be introduced to your range procedures and do a mock range drill, meaning that it is a mock range drill. So you're essentially going to go through the entire process as if you're on the range to qualify and shoot your rifle. You're going to learn about the ammo point, how to approach the range once you're cleared and you enter the range, which direction your rifle should be pointing, which is downrange at all times. Do not point it at anyone else or anywhere else other than downrange. Downrange meaning the direction of your targets. You will go through the firing positions and practice your sports and remedial training and understand the different commands that you'll be receiving from the tower. Once done conducting your firing positions in the range procedures at the firing point, you're going to be told to leave the range, where you're going to walk again with the muzzle pointing down range all the way to the clearing barrel. You're going to stick the muzzle into the barrel, clearing your weapon, dropping the magazine, conducting a functions test, and placing your weapon on safe before exiting the range. You will also receive an additional class on backup iron sights and how to shoot with your rifle with your iron sights versus your CCO or your optics. On day 12, you are going to start your hammer FTX, which is your field training exercise. This particular FTX is only 24 hours, which will be overnight. As part of this training, trainees will learn how to establish hasty firing positions as a member of a unit and occupy a patrol base to perform individual movement, communication, and movement tasks. That morning, you will knock out your PCCs and your PCIs. PCC is your pre-combat check and PCI is your pre-combat inspection, making sure and ensuring that you have everything needed to accomplish your mission on this field training exercise. From 0500 to about 0630, you will conduct and complete your 5-mile ruck march. After chow, between 0800 and 1200, you will make sure that you execute classes on priorities of work, select and establish hasty firing positions, conduct individual movement, and communication tasks, meaning your radio communications that you've previously learned. Between 13 and 1800, you will conduct practical exercises, movement tasks as an individual and through buddy teams. You will also conduct survival tasks dealing with your medical training and CBRN. In the evening, between 1900 and midnight, you will develop and establish more hasty firing positions to include familiarization with night vision devices. Night vision is a lot of fun. They're getting a little bit better over the years, but you will learn about the depth perception while using and utilizing night vision. It's pretty cool and amazing what very little light will do to illuminate everything around it. So let's say you're across a football field and somebody is smoking a cigarette. From the naked eye at night, you probably won't see anything or anyone smoking a cigarette from across the field, but with night vision, you're gonna see how much that little bit of light that comes from the cigarette, you will be surprised about how much light that will emit from that cigarette from across the field, lighting up the entire area of where they're located. So night vision is a lot of fun and very, very interesting. Again, normally, pre-COVID and after COVID, there will be another combative class conducted during this time frame as well. You will also conduct a request for medevac to standard with 100% accuracy. On day 13, you are going to continue your hammer FTX, starting off with a foot march back to garrison, or essentially back to your barracks, and conduct recovery from your hammer. You will also conduct your initial external evaluations while conducting your recovery from your hammer FTX. And on day 14 will be your last day of red phase, where you will continue your recovery from your hammer FTX. You will also finish up any additional red phase evaluations at this time, to include knocking out your end of red phase counselings with your drill sergeant, and to sign your new counseling on what to expect during your next white phase. As previously described, pre-COVID and post-COVID, you will conduct more combatives training at this time. If you have any additional questions or would like me to do a future video on any particular topic during Red Phase in a future video, comment that down below. And at this point, drop a hashtag Team Swords down in the comment section. Like this video. Most importantly, like this video. Smash it if that's something you're into. And I'll see you in the next. Hold up! Wait a minute. Like this video and follow me on social. And while you're at it, go ahead and check out one of my other videos right over here. Just pick one. They're pretty cool. I mean, I liked it. I mean, I was in it. Spoiler alert. I teach you something. Just saying.